Hello, my name is Joe Reitz. I'm the engineering manager for the City of Avon Lake.
And I'm Robert Knopp. I'm the city engineer for the City of Avon.
We're here today to talk to you and give you some information about maintaining what we call in the municipalities a BMP within your area where you live or the development that you may control.
One might ask, what exactly is a BMP? Well, BMP, as defined by the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, stands for Best Management Practice. And this could be a wet pond, a dry pond, a bioswale, or even a rain garden, which some of you might have heard of these, some of you might not. Now, all of these were supposed to be constructed perfectly when you move into your home. The problem is that as the years go on, these BMPs need to be maintained properly, and the onus on maintaining these is up to you.
It's all about this big body of water behind us, or in cases, drain down to the Ohio River. But it's all about how this water is treated from our sites and from your site before it gets into the navigable waters of the state of Ohio. It's all about water. It's all about clean stormwater to make sure it can be as clean as it possibly can be when it leaves your site. The BMPs that we talked about are very important. The management of them is extremely important. Henceforth, why we're doing this video. Hopefully, we won't bore you to death. Hopefully, we'll give you some very good information about maintaining your site and what the responsibilities clearly are between you as the property owner and us as the city. Why, when you get a letter from Bob or get a letter from me, why we're saying what we are saying. It's all about keeping the lake as clean as possible, keeping these waters as clean as possible, but it's about stormwater. So please pay attention, grab a cup of coffee, maybe a dish of ice cream, sit down and watch. Hopefully this will be very educational for you as it will be for us. So thank you for watching. What I'm standing on here is actually a rock channel in the flow line of the basin. But because this is a water quality basin, there's one more thing that needs to be noted on this site. Underneath this rock channel, which flows down through the middle of the basin, is another perforated underdrain underneath all this rock. What could the problem be with that? Upon closer inspection, you can stand here and notice that there's some silt, sediment, clay that's mixed in with the rocks, which is now preventing water from actually infiltrating down into that drain that's down on the bottom. Where is it coming from, you might ask? Some of it's coming from the outlet structure here, from the site where there's still home construction going on. And where is it going to? Going towards the outlet structure. There's a small little fence over there. It's this piece of silt fence that's intended to catch some of the sediment that might be running down here. But the problem is that this needs to be maintained. We've got it to the point where there's so much standing water that you can see that algae growth has started to pick up on this area. Looks like we got some cattails that may be trying to get started over here. But when it gets down to it, at the very end of this structure, the BMP, is the outfall structure itself. What issues might we have on this site? Well, the orifice itself is only a certain size. That's of concern. And ultimately, since this is owned by an association, it's not the city's responsibility to go and do these periodic inspections. It's our responsibility to make sure you're aware that the inspections need to be done. This is a beautiful site, and ultimately it needs to be maintained a little bit better, and we're going to work with the people to get that to where it needs to be. But ongoing maintenance, once the construction's done, will still need to be done, and that's going to fall on the homeowners. Once again, beautiful site, and we just need to do a little bit of tweaking to really make this pop.
Now, most of you might go and look at a swale or a ditch and say, oh, that's nice. It's nice. It's in my back property. I might want to plant some trees or some, flowers around it and make it look nice. Please don't do that. The swale here actually has not been maintained very properly, and as a result, is causing the wet pond to surcharge and flooding the basements of the subdivision that's draining into it. And as you can see, there's a lot of growth here alongside the swale, and a lot of twigs and trees that are not allowing the swale to fully function as it needs to, and thus, because this isn't functioning, isn't allowing the wet pond to function as it needs to.
Here we have an older dry basin with various recreational structures alongside. Proper measures were taken to ensure that these structures did not cause a problem to the ditch running through the basin. Incidentally, not only is the city happy, but the residents can now enjoy an interactive landscape. Furthermore, this basin drains a large subdivision and shows how with proper design, even a dry basin can be an asset if properly managed. The outlet controls here are two 36-inch diameter pipes that allow ideal water flow. In addition to being well designed, these pipes function superbly and cause for an impressive representation of a well-functioning dry basin.
It has not rained here in about 3 or 4 days now, and this pond should be at its typical dry weather elevation. Now, these inflow pipes are about a quarter full right now. Now, like I said, it hasn't rained in 3 or 4 days, so this pond should be a lot lower than it is right now. And the fact that these pipes are this full right now and it hasn't rained in a long time, as soon as it starts raining, these pipes are going to surcharge. The water level is going to go and be above the height of these pipes here. And what happens is that the storm sewer system, which goes into these inlet pipes, is also surcharging, flowing full, and it's causing a lot of basements to be flooded in this subdivision.
Here we are at a wet pond retainage basin that, although being properly constructed, has begun to develop significant issues. The grass here, maintained by the Homeowners Association, was mowed much shorter than suggested, and as a result, there is no longer a grass cover at the bottom of the pond. This has caused sediment to continually wash into the water, and more severely, it has caused erosion to become a serious issue. Incidentally, this pond is unable to function as it was originally designed, leaving nothing but problems for the city and homeowners alike.
We're standing in front of a rather large retention pond here, as you can see. It's a wet retention basin. It actually drains 3 different subdivisions, all told about 150 houses. The issue that has come up with this pond is right behind us, is the outlet structure. As you can see, we had some rain recently, so this basin's got quite a bit of water in it, but you can see that there's probably still 2 foot of freeboard that's remaining before it crests out of the overflow structure. So you can imagine if you're a resident that lives around here, you're very concerned with the height of the water in this basin as it gets closer to your backyards. But this is, once again, this is a maintenance issue. This specific site is not a water quality basin, but just due to the large volume of water in here, regular inspection is critical. There's actual inverted siphons that were installed in this basin that when it does crest at the 100-year event, then those siphons actually kick into effect and actually quicken the drawdown time after it stops draining. It's important, but once again, it might look like a very small structure, but there's actually several different things that need to be looked at when they're out here looking at this site. One of the things that the city would be concerned about on this specific site is the recreational structures that might be put in here by the neighboring residents. What happens if something comes loose, comes over here, blocks this outlet structure, or maybe blocks the rock weir that's over here? That's going to be a problem, because even though there might be 2 foot of freeboard right now, where we're standing, there isn't a whole lot more room, a lot more leeway beyond that should this basin want to overtop. And what do you have all around you? Basements. Everybody's concerned about that. I don't want water in my basement. I don't think anybody else would want water in their basement either, but once again, it gets to maintenance. Beautiful site, but it also needs to be looked at much more seriously than just maintaining the grass around the edges.
We are currently at a properly working 10-acre wetlands BMP. This particular BMP was designed to hold the overflow from French Creek, eventually allowing the stream to run back into its natural path, given, of course, that the correct water levels have been reached. Notable here is the serpentine flow of water, which is the recommended course as suggested by the EPA. Moreover, you'll notice that specific vegetation has been planted to ensure insect control and water quality, providing for a commendable BMP.
Today, I'm David Glow, one of 3 trustees with our Homeowners Association. Myself, Peg Newell, Jim Hugo, work closely with the City Engineering Department to try to resolve, and we did resolve, our pond issues. We first became actively involved with the Engineering Department approximately 2007. And that was when we found we had EPA requirements to do catch basin and volumetric studies. We worked with the city to identify contractors to work on the catch basin, and we also worked with the city getting their engineering drawings, and from the drawings we determined we had several issues. One of the key issues was that we had lost some volume due to slippage. That was during the construction and grading period, and we also lost some volume due to algae problems. Again, working with the city, they provided us a list of suitable contractors. We went out for bid, received those bids, sat down with the city and reviewed each bid and its details and the benefits that it would give us as an association. We found it extremely beneficial to work with Joe Wrights in the engineering department. He provided us recommended solutions to resolve our pond issues, and at this point we're extremely satisfied and would continue to use those resources for our benefit.
Well, folks, we thank you for watching. Hopefully this video so far has been very educational, but we wanted to touch base on a couple brief points here to try to sum everything up.
Yeah, I know it's been educational for me, so I'm sure it's been educational for you also. And just remember, inspections are important. Make sure that your outfall at least is being inspected after every heavy rainfall, and make sure you do that annual and 5-year inspection report, and make sure, and get it back to your city official, your city or county official, because that's important. Again, we need that for our records.
Knowing the BMP on your site is very important for you. The municipalities will be aware of what you have on your site, but you as the property owner need to be just as equally aware and henceforth follow up on the inspections. Please, if you have any questions about anything we've talked about, you're more than welcome to. I'm sure our information will be available, but talk to your local officials, whether it's the municipality, whether it's the local soil and water conservation district. They'll have information about many of the topics that we talked about. They'll be able to assist you in implementing a maintenance program, implementing a management program that you can actually deal with realistically, and it can be done and accomplished. A lot of this responsibility falls on us as municipalities. We do need to have copies of reports and inspections, and you may get a random call from your municipality asking for those inspections to make sure that they are done. But it's all about maintaining the quality of water that runs off of your site and continuing to monitor that and continuing to make sure that the water that's running off of your site is as clean as it can possibly be. Once again, on behalf of myself, Joe Wrights,
and Robert Knopp,
we thank you both for watching, and hopefully this was educational. Thank you.
Have a great day.